Well, hello everybody. It's back at the Rectory, Ramblings from the Rectory, and as you can see in the office, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. But even though we're beginning the Christmas season and the first Sunday of Advent, before that we celebrate Thanksgiving, a time for families to gather. Unfortunately this year it's a little bit different, and yet health and happiness and being together sometimes isn't always exactly how we want to have it planned. But even in everything that's going on, we still have the fact that we are thankful very much for everyone's cooperation in these difficult days since March, when we had to shut down for a time and go to just virtual masses, now having mass in the gym, and everybody's help with all of that, whether it was the volleyball people setting up or taking down, and all the other people that have helped in order to keep Sunday as something special, not to mention the fact of communion on the parking lot, which has been very, very successful too. This past week, which was the Feast of Christ the King, we gave out the little blue books for Advent. They are in the narthex of the church if you want to stop by. The church is usually open until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There also is a book about God from the Dynamic Catholic Committee for a little Christmas present, and those are there too also. And we also have the calendars. We'll be putting all these things back also in the connector for the masses on Saturday and Sunday. So just know of all those things that are there to help us celebrate the Advent season and ultimately Christmas very well. Speaking of Christmas, the Christmas Masses will be beginning on Christmas Eve at 3 o'clock. The Archbishop has given us permission to do Mass at 3 o'clock. And what we will do is we have a 3 o'clock Mass, then we will have a 4:30, then we'll have a 6 o'clock Mass. These will all be in the gymnasium. In order to make sure that you have a place to stay, because everyone must have a reservation, you may go on the website, which is www.stalbanrow.org. And to the left of the calendar, you will see a place where it says the word flock notes. You can click on there, and it will lead you to the different Mass times. And all you have to do is sign up for that, and it will click off another number. We do only have 220 spaces in the gym. 220. When 220 is filled on the flock notes, you'll have to pick another Mass. No one will be allowed to come in to the inn, so to speak, on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day unless they have a reservation. There will be ushers at the door, and you give them your name, and they will let you in. Make sure that you wear your mask, and we hope that you will sign up. There will be 2 Masses also on Christmas Day at 7:30 and also again at 10:30. Also, it's a question of signing up on flock notes. We will have communion on the parking lot at 9:30, in between the 7:30 and the 10:30 Mass on Christmas Day. So we hope that this all works out. If you are not computer savvy, as I am not, you may call the office and they will sign you up for Mass on flock notes. You may have as many people as you want come, but make sure that you list the number that you need. We hope that it all works out. In preparation for Christmas, we also want to not have the usual one day of confessions and reconciliation, but what Father Freddie and I have come up with is a confession schedule that on Tuesday, December the 15th, Thursday, which is December the 17th, and Tuesday again, December 22nd, we will have confessions at 6:30 in the evening. There will be 3 confessors. We will begin with exposition of the Blessed Sacrament, and then have a little examination of conscience, and then we will hear confessions until everyone has been reconciled. Beginning on December 14th, we will be available for confessions after the 6:30 and the 8 a.m. Mass. So beginning on Monday the 14th of December to December 22nd, after the 6:30 and the 8:30 masses on those days, confessions will be available in the sacristy after Mass. And of course, then there's the regular Saturday confessions at 3 o'clock. We hope that all gives you some planning time, and you will accordingly mark your schedules. It's almost the Christmas season. As you can see, we're a little festive here in our office. And I'd like to offer you some of the things that might put you in the Christmas spirit. First of all, Christmas carols, CDs. There's Christmas Carol, and I think that it comes out every year, but you might be able to still get it. It's Christmas in St. Louis. It's choirs from all over the Archdiocese of St. Louis, and it is put together by the St. Vincent de Paul Society of St. Louis. And so all the proceeds for this particular CD goes to the Vincent de Paul Society that does such great work. And I want to thank our Vincent de Paul Society for doing such great work here. Also, what would Christmas be without listening to A Christmas with Charlie Brown? A Charlie Brown Christmas with all the music from the cartoon. Another favorite is Michael Bublé. Michael Bublé at Christmas, and also Michael Ball. Another one. For instrumental music, A Winter Solstice with Windham Hill Artists. Another great CD. And of course, one that came out not too long ago is El Divo's Christmas Collection. They are not that popular anymore, but they sure were at one time, and their music is still good. One of my favorite when it comes to religious is Ralph Vaughan Williams. I don't know if you know who Ralph Vaughan Williams is, but he's the one who wrote For All the Saints that we sing at church. It's also the one song and hymn at Easter time, which is Hail Ye Festival Day, which is one of my favorites. And it's Hodie. It actually is a Christmas cantata. Most people know Handel's Messiah. This is Ralph Vaughan Williams' Christmas cantata, and it's based upon Milton's poem on the day of Christ's nativity. It's magnificent. Another one that is fantastic, this is all British stuff, is King's College Choir, O Come All Ye Faithful. Magnificent. It's King's College, you might know that they're the ones that do the lessons in carols every year on Christmas Eve. And finally, the Cambridge Singers. It's also a great one that has traditional, but some all new contemporary things, especially by John Rutter. I recommend all of those CDs. When it comes to maybe things to watch on TV, I grew up in the golden age of television, when television was just coming of age, and it was amazing what they actually would put on. At Christmas time, of course, it was always a question of watching Peter Pan with Mary Martin. You can actually go on YouTube and see the 1960 version. You can also get the Amazon version on DVD from 1956. It was always on at Christmas time, and it still is a fantastic thing to watch at Christmas, especially with the kids. The other thing that was really great was Amal and the Night Visitors. This was when the Hallmark Hall of Fame used to actually commission playwrights and artists and musicians to write things specifically for TV at a particular time. And Giancarlo Menotti was asked by the NBC Opera Company to actually write something for Christmas. It was produced in the same studio that now houses Saturday Night Live, and it used to be also the NBC Orchestra. But Amal and the Night Visitors is a story of a poor shepherd boy who was crippled, and it shows the three kings showing up at his house on Christmas Eve. And they really have nothing to offer, and yet they stay there and a miracle happens. Beautiful music. It was inspired by Hieronymus Bosch's painting of the Visit of the Magi. Giancarlo Menotti was having trouble coming up with anything, so he decided to take the day off, and he went to the Metropolitan Museum and he saw that painting, and it inspired him, remembering of his childhood, when he used to think in terms of the three kings. In fact, one of them definitely was deaf, according to his imagination, and he turns up deaf in the show and becomes kind of the comic relief. You can also see that on YouTube. It was the Ashlawn Opera Theater. It does the best version of the thing. The other thing, everybody knows The Sound of Music. Everybody knows Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer and those people from The Sound of Music, written by Richard Rodgers. Well, back in the day, CBS actually commissioned a Broadway show for TV. Julie Andrews, at the time, in 1957, was on Broadway starring in My Fair Lady, and they decided to write a version of Cinderella. Cinderella was first performed on TV in black and white on CBS at Christmas time. And you can go on YouTube, and there's an introduction actually by Julie Andrews herself talking about the musical. My favorite new video or movie that I saw last year is The Man Who Invented Christmas. This is a great show. It is about Charles Dickens having writer's block and yet coming up with the great show, A Christmas Carol. It stars Dan Stevens. You might remember him. He was in Downton Abbey. He was the heartthrob. I think it was Matthew who died in the first episode. Also Christopher Plummer, who plays Captain Von Trapp in Sound of Music, and Jonathan Pryce, who was in Oliver, and I can't think what else was. How about things to read? One of my favorite comedian, David Sedaris. It's called Holidays on Ice. One of the great short stories in here, there's a number of them, is his experience of being an elf at Macy's store in New York City. It's called the Santaland Diaries. He became famous by reading this on NPR a number of years ago, and now he put it into a book a couple of years ago, and it's also got some other ones that are pretty funny. Some of them are true stories, some of them are just his ridiculous imagination, but it will definitely give you a sophisticated laugh. The other thing that I read every year, of course, is Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. If you haven't read it for a while, or you've never read it to your kids, get it and get a good illustration of it. This is one that came out a number of years ago, and it's illustrated by Greg Hindlebrandt, but it's got great, great pictures in it. And of course, the story is timeless. Not to mention, my favorite, I didn't research this, but when I was a kid, every Christmas, it wasn't Charlie Brown's Christmas, it was The Littlest Angel. And if you've never heard the story of The Littlest Angel, you are really missing something. And it might be on YouTube. In fact, I'm going to check it out as soon as I finish this little video. But anyway, those are a few things from the Rectory. I've gone on too long. Sister is putting up a sign saying I should say, "Oh, A Wonderful Life." Don't forget to watch that. In fact, isn't it impossible not to watch that? Because it's on all the time. May you have a very blessed Thanksgiving. May you have a wonderful Advent season. And maybe we'll have another one of these ramblings even before Christmas when we get everything decorated upstairs, and I'll give you a little tour. Peace, love, and joy. Thanks for listening.